What's up guys, this is Teddy. Welcome to my YouTube channel. This video we're going to be talking about the factory pattern in C#. Factory pattern is, if not the most common, probably the most common design pattern you'll ever see, and it's not as simple as the singleton, but it's still pretty simple. The factory pattern basically boils down to this, and you may have experienced this when you're programming. You just notice that you're newing up a lot of stuff. You're newing up stuff in constructors, you're newing up stuff in functions, and you notice that you're creating the same objects every single time. And what you would do is you would make a folder in Visual Studio, and that's what I'm going to do right now. And let me see here, go into Design Patterns. So take a little bit here. All right, so sorry for the hold up. No, stop. All right, so we're gonna go in here. We're gonna create a folder. We're gonna call this factory, and it would be very similar to this, but it would obviously it's gonna be in some kind of web project, some kind of backend web API or some kind of framework, and you would just have a factory. And in this case, let's say we have within this other folder, we have a network utility, and I always use network utilities as a good example of something that we could kind of mock. This will be like almost like a fake network utility. And I've done this on pretty much every. If you've watched any of my other videos, you know that I'll always make fake network utilities. And when we do this, we're gonna make a ping. We will make a ping class, and we will just say here, we are going to say public void send request, and then we're going to have a string for the IP, and we'll just put we're just going to put fake stuff in here, and then we'll have here times sent. So we want to send this request a certain amount of time, and we're not even going to return anything, so we're just going to console write line. So we're going to go console, we're going to go write line, and we'll go ping request sent, and then we will put let me see, we'll just put the IP to ping request sent to IP, and then we will have here, and we will have let's see, I'm gonna have to do some kind of crazy interpolation here. So we're gonna go, then we're gonna go time sent. So time sent, we'll have here times, and we can copy this here in a second. You might not even have, you don't even have to put this if you don't want to. You literally, the whole idea behind this is going to be learning like the actual infrastructure. So then we would go in here and we would just new it up. And this is how code always starts. It always starts off very simple, and then out of nowhere you're like, oh, this is getting unwieldy. So we go in here, and then we would new it up, and this is pretty much beginner programming 101. Like I don't even really need to explain how any of this works. And make sure you're bringing in the one that we actually created. Then you get a call from the boss. We're gonna have to expand this network utility. So you go in here, and we're gonna say this is a Mac. No, that's probably not good. This is a DNS utility. So then we're going to go in here, and we're pretty much going to do the exact same thing. In fact, we're just going to have the same exact, just copy and paste this send request over in, and then just change it just slightly so that it's DNS. So then we have DNS request sent to IP. Then we come in here, and then the boss calls again, and he says, we need one for ARP. Like, we're expanding like crazy. We got to put you programmers to work because we're getting clients like crazy and they want more features. And then then you got to come in here and then you got to make an ARP. Oh my gosh. So you come in here, you make an ARP request sent to, and then you begin to realize, like, well, we're going to have to make an interface for this because we're doing the same thing. So let's just go ahead and let's create an interface. So then we create an interface, and then we're just going to call it iNetwork, and then we are going to put our send request in here so that we can abstract this all the way. So what we're doing is we're pretty much abstracting this. So we go in here. Now we can take this iNetwork and we can start implementing it in here. So we're going to have iNetwork. And we might not even have to bring anything in or actually do anything to, yeah, we don't even have to bring anything in because I think it's exactly the same, not unless I made a typo in here somewhere. So we bring in, now we have, we're abstracting with the iNetwork. And the reason that we do this is because then we can come in here and now we have this iNetwork. And this is almost like a form of this is like what we first did with just this first ping right here is the first layer, or this is like this is like taking your baby steps towards abstraction. We're working towards more and more abstraction, but then we even have the iNetwork, but we're still newing up a bunch of stuff and it still looks like crap. And as it continues to grow and then we're coming into other places and we're bringing in the iNetwork ping and we're doing all of this, what's really going to happen is you're going to have your you're going to go in here, then you're going to have your network factory. Network factory. And this is like the final boss, or not the final boss, but you get what I'm saying. We're, like in Pokemon, you're constantly trying to battle more and more stronger Pokemon. And here we're trying to battle more and more unwieldeliness in our code. And now we've just leveled up to like the next level in Pokemon. Now first we weren't doing any abstraction. Now we're using iNetwork. And now the third and final boss is going to be the iFactory, or the factory pattern. So what's going to happen here is, I'm just going to bring this over here. We've already made this and we've already implemented this interface, and this is going to provide us with some form of abstraction, and we can, kind of infer what's going on based on like what we just created. But now we're going to create this new factory class, and what's going to happen is the program is going to pass in a string, say, the program will pass in a string of, say, ARP. We're just going to pass it in. It's going to go inside the factory, and very similar to a factory, the factory is going to spit out a ping object, and it usually takes like some like get instance or create create network factory, and what's going to happen is it's just going to spit out that object, and then we can do with whatever we want to with it, and then we have a brand new object that we can play around with, and we can do whatever we want to. And because it's like a factory and it's not a singleton is like, it's literally the same object, but a factory is you're just creating more and more objects. So let's go here, and you would call it you just call it a factory. There's no special type of word for it. And this is kind of like a dirty, like people say that this isn't a true factory pattern, but this is more of introductory. So we're just trying to get the basics down of this, and then you can learn the true factory pattern once you kind of get more used to what's actually going on here. So what's going to happen is come in here. We have public, we have iNetwork, and because we've provided this abstraction, we've got this iNetwork interface, we can return a actual instance of this. Like, think about it. If we just went in here and we typed in ping, we wouldn't have the flexibility to be able to do whatever we wanted. We would have to return that specific ping, but because we have better forms of abstraction, we can return this iNetwork. Let me see. iNetwork utility. So we're going to bring that in, and then we're going to say we're going to bring in the type. Then we go down here and we can initialize. What we're going to have to do is we're going to have this object. We're going to have a form of state at the top, or you would have some type of value that's going to hold whatever you plan on returning. And I'm sure there's a different way that you could do this, but this is probably the simplest, and if it works, it works. And we have the iNetwork, so we're going to go in here, we're going to go type to lower, and we're going to make sure that we lowercase this, because if they push in something that's not capitalized, or maybe you or the user doesn't use it correctly, you want to have some type of sanitization going on, because it won't work as it's intended. That's probably the best way of putting it. Okay, then we're going to have object, and then whatever they put in, we're going to assign that object to them. And then we can go through here and we can do an else if. And I'm actually just going to copy this, put this right there, and else if arp, else if DNS, so it's gonna lowercase it, and then what's ever passed into here is going to get our network instance, or you could call it get network factory. You could get network instance. I think get network instance is probably the most appropriate. Then you have this. So, and also while we're down here, let's just put some kind of base case just in case the user does not pass incorrect data, and we'll say type not found. And that's a very non-specific, but once again, just for learning purposes. So we've got our factory now. So instead of coming in here and we abstracted a little bit, and we have DNS, and we would have DNS right here, and we did provide this iNetwork abstraction. Now you can just come in and go iNetwork and bring in just network factory, because this iNetwork's not actually a part of that. You go in and just call it a factory. So you have your network factory, and you just have to new up one thing, and now so var ping is equal to factory dot get network instance, and type in ping var DNS is equal to factory dot get network instance dot DNS, then var arp is equal to factory dot get network instance dot arp. Then we go down here and we'll just go do the send request and put in fake IPs. I'm gonna go to DNS.send request to, then we have 4, then we have arp dot send request, pass in, and these are fake IPs, and just to make them look a little bit more real, those don't even look like IPs. So a couple fake IPs. Then go in here 4 times, and then let's run it let's see what we actually get. And there was build errors, and I forgot a curly bracket, I hope. So we go down here, and if you look, it's went ahead and it's assigned our ping functionality. It's assigned our DNS. It's assigned our ARP. Then we go, and would you look at that ping request, and it's went ahead and did all our console logs. Let me see. And for some reason, let me just go in here. I'm going to go to the implementation. Everything was ping. So ARP. So network factory. Oh, these are all pings. I'm sorry. So make this ARP, make this DNS. That was the problem. Okay, then we go down here. And I'm just gonna knock this debugger off so I can go ahead and run it. I'm like almost positive it's gonna work. Yep, ping request sent so many times, DNS request sent so many times, ARP request sent 4 times. So that is pretty much the factory pattern, relatively simple pattern. If you guys like this video, make sure to hit that like button, make sure to hit that subscribe button, and as always, thank you for watching.